2018 to 2023. And that's normal, natural American inflation on real estate purchases, okay? So again, this is the time that you want to go into purchasing. This is a buyer's market. Sellers have many of their properties that's been sitting on the market for quite some time. They're ready to make a deal. They're giving $5,000 off. They're giving $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off. And some of them are giving it to you towards a credit, or some of them are actually taking that money and then reducing that interest. In today's video, we're going to talk about 3 reasons on why you should buy a home this year. Number 1 is that the federal government has already said that they're going to do a lot of rate reductions this year. They said it's going to be anywhere between 3 to 5 rate reductions, and the first one they're hoping to start in March or April, okay? So you most definitely want to go ahead and strongly consider buying a home simply because the rates are already trending downwards. Right now, as I do this video, the rates right now are around 6.5%. That's 1 full percent lower than what it was just a month ago. And so again, we haven't seen these types of numbers since like the past 3 to 4 months. So it's already started trending in the right direction. Number 2, as rates tend to go down, and which is going to obviously lower your monthly payment and overall just going to save you money on the overall loan itself, is also going to increase competition. So the longer that you wait this year, the more competition is going to be. What type of competition am I talking about? Well, do you remember what 2020 was like? 2020 was crazy. If someone loved a house, they thought they were the only ones that loved the house until they pulled up at the house, right? I remember showing properties, and when we pulled up to the property, someone was walking out. And then when we were walking out of the property, someone was waiting to get in. Or worse, when we get to the property, it was so much interest in the property, they did an open house and there was a line wrapped around the corner just to see the property, okay? If you want that type of competition, I got bad news for you, is that type of competition is on its way. Just the past 3 weeks in January, okay? Now we're wrapping up January at the time of this video, but just these past 3 to 4 weeks, showings have been up 17%. The last time it was this close with the first month of the year back in 2020, then it was at 14%, guys, okay? Last year, it was at like 8 or 9%. Now it's at 14%. That means people are already starting to get out there. And then what's going to happen when it's a lot of buyers? If there's a lot of buyers, then we're going to have an inventory issue. Then if we have an inventory issue, people are going to be fighting literally to try to get these properties. If you want to try your best to avoid that and you don't want to have to deal with that, then the sooner that you make your decision to buy a home, the better. I'm not trying to talk you into buying a home. Most people have a place to stay anyway. And that leads me to number 3. Rents have been going up, okay? The thing is that people, let's be honest, a lot of people don't like to do math, okay? And if you do the math, you'll be able to see that what you're paying per month for rent is very close to what you would pay for a single family home, okay, in that same area. Now, this is most areas. Now, we're not talking about, a lot of the high-end areas like, DC or, New York or California or even Texas. Don't get me wrong. Everywhere in Chicago is not affordable either. But for the most part, 70% of Chicago is affordable, and so affordable, or let's just scratch out the word affordable. What a person is paying for rent in a lot of these types of areas, they can most definitely own a home for probably sometimes less, okay, depending on how these interest rates work out. But you can at least be, in a home plus or minus $150 or so per month and to own in that same area. Here's what you have to understand. Even if you love your landlord, you have to pay to stay somewhere anyway. You got to pay to stay somewhere in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s. Until you are done with this earth, with your time, you will be paying to stay somewhere. The only way around that is to pay for something in full, stay with someone, or obviously have something paid off, okay? And so with a home, you know for a fact that, hey, I have to live somewhere and I plan on having a roof above my head at least for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Now that I've confirmed that I want a roof over my head for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, I'm going to pay to stay anyway. The question is, where's that money going to go? If it goes towards rent, it goes nowhere. Okay. You're just paying to stay. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not knocking renting. I'm comparing renting and the fact that you already have to pay to stay. It may as well be towards something that where the balance is going to be going down and you're also building equity. Okay. That's what you have to understand with real estate is that this is actually a bonus. Number four is that when you purchase property, that it actually builds equity over time. So that means you could take the equity out of the property. You can, do stuff with that. You can pay off debts. You can actually put that money back into the property. You can put that towards, another mortgage. It's whatever you want to do, but you will build that equity just from natural, normal American inflation with the real estate market. You buy a property now, and 5 years from now, it's going to be worth more. It doesn't matter the market, okay? And so that's typically how real estate works. But rents do nothing but keep going up. Even if they dip, it's just a matter of time before they go up again. Now, home prices do the same thing, but you're not buying a home every year. You're not buying a home every 5 years. You could if you wanted to. And if you did that, you would have equity. I had a client where she bought a house that was $130,000. And then this was actually in 2018. She sold her property in 2023 and she had about $50,000 worth of equity. And the market wasn't the best. Had she waited like probably 6 to 8 more months, which is now we're going into, she probably could sell for what it was really worth, which was about $100,000 more, at least $80,000 to $85,000, and that would have put her at 215 or so from the 130. She ended up selling at about 180, 185. But around that number, again, that was how much equity she was able to build. And that's from 2018 to 2023. And that's normal, natural American inflation on real estate purchases. Okay. So again, this is the time that you want to go into purchasing. This is a buyer's market. Sellers have many of their properties that's been sitting on the market for quite some time. They're ready to make a deal. They're giving $5,000 off. They're giving $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 off. And some of them are giving it to you towards a credit, or some of them are actually taking that money and then reducing that interest rate. There's so many different things you can do with this type of market, but here's the news. It won't last forever. All right. So if you love this video, you're most definitely going to love the next one. Be sure to grab our free first-time home buyers guide as well too on the top mistakes that first-time home buyers make as well. The link is inside the description below. We'll see you at the next video.